storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. Finding life along the way, melodies we haven't played. No, I don't want no rest. Echoing around these walls, fighting to create a song. I don't wanna miss a beat. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on.
G'day crew, Seano here. Thought I'd jump on and do a bit of a live chat stream with all you YouTube people out there. Hope everyone's having a good day. We thought we probably need to have a chat today. A lot of people out there probably need a little bit of help with their team, or maybe you've just thrown your team in the garbage. I know a lot of your teams might look a little bit like this. Yep, is this what your Supercoach team looks like? Is your team like exploded? And yes, I should have another one of a bin and people throwing their Supercoach team in the bin. Hopefully you didn't get wrecked in too much of the carnage this week, but yes, it has been a rough week. One of these reasons that we want to keep these trades, you know, we didn't want to really go down to 2 or 3 trades. A lot of people were saying that they thought that that was going to be okay. Let's face it, it's never okay. It never works out that way each year. Coming out, you know, with 3 trades with 8 rounds to go, or 4 trades to 8 rounds to go, you're never going to be okay. Supercoach gods are not that kind. So yes, does your team look like this? I don't know. I think I've been pretty lucky. My team is okay out of all the people that have been rubbed out. Let's go through them. So we've got Jason Francis rubbed out for the season. Nick Martin rubbed out for the season. Connor Rosie is a test, but more than likely will miss this week. Keep an eye out for the team sheets for that one. Who else have we got? We got Tristan Sherry loses his marbles and you knock somebody out. He's out to round 22. Who else have we got? There's more there, but wait, there's more. I know there's more. They just can't think of them off the top of my head. But yeah, pretty. Not only a lot of injuries, but a lot of Supercoach relevant injuries. So thought I'd jump on today. If you need a little bit of help trying to work out what you're going to do, or maybe you can try and help me what I'm going to do. Yeah, and we'll have a bit of a chat and see how we go. See if we can help you guys out in the community. If you want to show me your team, you can have a look at your team and I can tell you what I would do. Also, if you're watching, please hit that subscribe button. We're trying to get to 300 subscribers before the end of the AFL season. And yes, if you like the video, leave a like and yeah, comment down below. Alright, so let's have a look at, while we're waiting for some people to turn up and say g'day, and the Thursday night game. We'll have a look at the team sheets when they also come out, but we'll just have a quick look at my team, and if you just want to jump on quickly and then jump off and tell you what I'm particularly doing, you have a look here. The only real issue that I had, I've been very lucky, is Sherry. He's the only issue that I really have. I didn't have Connor Rosie, I didn't have Nick Martin, I didn't have and Jason Francis. So, you know, I was pretty lucky there. All those players I would have really loved to have in my team a few weeks ago. And now I'm kind of thinking that by sheer luck, no skill, sheer luck, that Seano's shit team, by not having the good players in the team that should be in the team, has avoided an absolute disaster. I guess the other ones we need to keep a little bit of an eye on is Nick Dacos was very sore. He got hit like 3 times last week, 3 knocks during the game, and was played a little bit forward and a little bit back. Allowed his brother to go into the middle and absolutely annihilate a quarter. So Nick Dacos, could be a little bit sore. Do they play him? Do they not play him? I guess that's going to be, up to the club. And I also saw with Connor Rosie a message from the coach saying an article where it was said that they're going to give him, he's the captain and he gets the option whether he wants to play or not, which I thought was kind of a little bit strange. Normally if the doctors come out and say, hey, you've got a disculated finger or a broken hand or something, you shouldn't play, and he's like, yeah, I'm going to play anyway. Maybe that's not the smartest thing, and if I was an owner, I don't know if I'd be thrilled about that, because if it comes out and injures it even worse, if he plays with a disculated hand and then breaks his finger or antagonises it, and then he's rubbed out for 2 or 3 weeks after that instead of just the one, I'd be a pretty unhappy super coacher, and for the team as well. I guess I'd probably be pretty unhappy as well. So hopefully, if he plays, he's okay. So as you can see, for some crazy reason, English is in my team. So he's the only one. For Sherry being out, I had 3 trades, so I can still make that 1 trade. I had a few other options where I could go down and try and get up to Grundy, but that would only leave me with 1 trade, like something like going down from a Zach Johnson to that 99k rookie in the midfield, or even the Geelong midfielder, even though he was the sub this week. I think he was subbed off last week. The Geelong guy looks really good. And then I could probably get Sherry up to Grundy, which, we'd all love Grundy with the form he's in, but that would only leave me with 1 trade. And we saw what happened last week. There's no rules that say it can't happen again. Like here, we held Campbell Gray, hoping that he'd be back around this week, and he's listed on the injuries list of I don't know whether he's redone it or they've just extended the time, but he's now out for basically the rest of the season, 6 to 8 weeks or something like that. So he's probably not going to be coming back this season. So I thought we might get a little bit of coverage there. That would have been great, but no, we're not going to do that. And Saad El Halouli, did we get his name right? Should we start off with an English?
Me fail English? That's impossible.
That's impossible. Thank you, Ralph Wiggum. Yeah, I was hoping with all the injuries in Essendon, you'd think he'd get a game. You'd think they'd at least give him a go, but nope, he can't even get in the team, and they've basically got a VFL team running around out there, and he can't even get a game, so that's a bit disappointing as well. And my mate Sims here, I don't even know if you call this coverage. He played a full game and he got 10 points. Is that coverage? I don't know if that's even coverage. You probably, what difference is 10 points going to make? It might, by some miracle, it might win you a league game if you were, you didn't have 23 players and you was a couple of points in the game, you might win. But 10 points without an injury, probably one of the lowest scores that I have seen. So yeah, this week, that's probably what we're going to do. We're just going to try and keep it simple. Keep it simple, stupid. That really applies to me. We'll get rid of Sherry and we'll get in English. Now, the reason I'm going English is because of 2 things. Now, this decision is not set. When we see the team sheets a little bit later on, I'll let you guys know. If Max Heath is not named in the St Kilda side and Rowan Marshall will be rucking by himself, I'll probably go Marshall. But since with that dual ruck and Rowan Marshall playing a little bit more forward, I think Team English has the next best fixture for the next few rounds. He hasn't had the best of seasons, but he's been reasonably consistent, and so hopefully he can have that form of a couple of years back. But like since round 10 he's gone, even since round 8, 166, 88, 122, 89, 127, 115, 142, 100, 109 and 98. So that's pretty consistent. Not a massive, huge games, but he has got a big ceiling if he has a good day. And I figure he's got all those Bulldogs. They've got such a good midfield, then maybe he's going to get, if he could just get some hit outs, maybe they're going to be to advantage, and that way they can, he can increase his score by that. Hey Corey, how you going, buddy? Had a crap round down to 0 trades, 2-2-1. Had Kennedy as well. Ooh. Kennedy from Martin, and got Sherry to deal with. Captain Rosie, I was seriously considering. I captain Rosie I have a fantasy team and a AFL the Dream Team team, and I captained Rosie in both of them, and you got punished for that. English and Whitfield for Martin and Sherry. Yes, I also went Whitfield. I managed to do some swapping around in the Real Dream Team, and I got Whitfield for Horn Francis by doing a little bit of shifty work. Not going to make the top K anymore. No Butters and no Bont. You picked my 2 captains this week, Butters and Bont. Pretty hard fade, those 2. They are coming into form. We all know that they're probably the 2. If you take away the rucks, if you say the midfielders, they're the 2 most consistent scorers over the last couple of years anyway, and they seem to be getting back into that form this year after that late start. So, unfortunately, Corey, so you got no trades after that. So you got, after you do English and Whitfield, you got no trades, eh? Sorry to hear that, buddy. Yeah, you played well. You had a good team. Like I just said, I would have loved to have had Nick Martin in my team. I would have. Connor Rosie, I sold him at the beginning after he had those couple of tag games, and I've been regretting it the entire season. So, I'm really thinking that I got very lucky with my team. And also, I knew to try and... I didn't keep as many trades as I would like, but I knew to keep trades. This happens every year. It happened last year as well. I think I had more trades after the buys last year, and I ended up with 0 during my league finals. And since I'm playing for leagues now, obviously, overall, we are 9,930, and with all the carnage, I think I've probably got a good chance of moving up. With these, get a few decent scores, I could potentially move up. Sherry and Martin, oh my god, that sounds brutal. At least with fantasy, you get 2 trades a week, but I guess it doesn't help you if you don't have much coverage. But I guess the one thing I like, I play the 3 competitions, and I like the Supercoach. I'm a Supercoach boy. Supercoach is where me and all my friends have my league. This is the one I really care about. I don't really care about fantasy, and I don't like it as much because I feel it's not like Supercoach where the score actually reflects how their game was. Where in fantasy, it's basically just possessions. You could get 30 possessions and butcher every one. You can kick it straight to the opposition every single time, and you still get a big score. Whereas here in Supercoach, if you do that, you're probably going to be on negatives, even though you got 30 possessions. So, but the 2 trades every week, sometimes I think it takes the edge off wanting to trade. So instead of having, I'm like, well, I can't trade in Supercoach, so I'll go and trade over in fantasy instead. Had got one good news for me last week, Corey, is that I know we don't really care about game day squad a lot, but I started up a few weeks ago and I came 3rd. I got 3rd out of everyone in the starters in the beginner comp. And now the prizes, these apparently great prizes, were pretty shit, let's be honest. But I think I got 1 pack of cards. But 3rd out of everybody, I was pretty happy with that. At least that kept me happy for a little bit. What was the name of your team again, Corey? Was it Oak Errol? Is this you? O Errol? Rosie, Sherry, Martin. Yeah, this looks like you. Overall rank 3,700. Yeah, it's pretty rough, buddy. Hey, Matthew, how you going? Good to see you, mate. Thanks for dropping in. Who are you? You still got 3 trades. Who did you have last week, Matthew? I've still got have I still got it up? I've still got the screen. I think, is this what your team looks like? Is that what your team looks like? Did that especially because I thought a few people might have a bit of issues here. I think the only reason I got away with it, I was lucky. I was lucky that I didn't have the best team possible. Kind of Supercoach. She's an evil mistress sometimes. Yeah, all these players. I thought about getting Nick Martin in, couldn't get him in. Wanted Rosie desperately, but just sold him early on and couldn't get him back in. You know, just absolute carnage. Like, yeah, pretty rough. Besides that, I mean, yeah, so you're going to go... You said you're going to go Martin and Sherry for... Corey, you're going Martin and Sherry for Whitfield, and you're going English as well. Are you like me? Hey guys, if you see the teams come out, let me know. We'll go through the teams when they do. We want to keep a good eye on. Like I said just before, I saw an article where Hinkley said that he's going to let Connor Rosie decide whether he plays or not. I'm like, fuck, shouldn't you probably let a doctor decide whether he plays or not? I mean, how pissed off would you guys be with Rosie if he comes out and plays with his, you know, fractured hand or whatever, and then he fucks it up even worse? Instead of being a 1 week injury, it's a 2 or a 3 week or a 4 week injury. I mean, I'd be absolutely furious. And then considering I own him in both my other leagues, and a few of my draft leagues, I will be absolutely ropeable if they do that. I mean, if they play him and he gets through, okay. But if they play him and he re-injures it for a longer amount of time, you know, how pissed off would you actually be? So yeah, Corey, unlucky buddy. So yeah, Matthew, who did you lose? What's your name of your team again? Is it Knock Knock? Is that you? No, that's Jared. Matthew Bojangles. This is probably you, right? Sherry to Brayshaw and putting Jackson in the ruck. Let's have a look. Oh, yep. So this is probably your team. You're going to move Jackson to the ruck. Move Warner up there and get Brayshaw here. That seems pretty reasonable. Bojangles, yep. Got the right one. Most of you guys, I've got you saved, all my regular. Thank you very much for being regular chatters and watchers during the live videos. And if you're watching my other videos too, thanks so much, gentlemen. Really appreciate it. I thought I'd jump on today, have a bit of chat, see who's out there before the game started. Who knows? Some people, I don't know how much help I'm going to be, but some people might just want some help and advice. Like, I was seriously tempted to do 2 trades and go... I was tempted to go Johnson down to like a 99 rookie and then Sherry up to English, but just the carnage last week. Like, I keep on saying that the 3 of the 4 trades wasn't enough. You know, I still think there could be more carnage to come. You know, it's still got a long way to the end of the season, and I really want to win my Supercoach league. So, you know, if I can hold off to the league finals and other people have got zeros on their field and I don't, I could potentially win a match against a team that has a much better team than I do, but just because they have a 0 and I don't have a 0 might get me over the line. So that's why I would really love Grundy in my team, but I just can't go down to 1 trade. I just can't do it. So I like your moves, Matthew, I like your moves. You're going down, you know, you're going Jackson into the ruck, which is fine. That's the good. I know he hasn't been the best since Darcy came back, but he's still doing okay. And that's exactly why you got him, right? So you can do kind of moves like this. So having Jackson, you know, has worked out for you, and it was a good move. Yeah, lost to the bottom team in your league. Yeah, that happens, right? That happens, especially during buys, Corey. Not so much coming out of buys, but you know, it only takes them to have a few pod differences. Like the top 10% of teams, they'll have some player that nobody in the top 10% of teams have. Or there's this girl in our league called Joanne. I don't know her personally, but she's been in our league for a lot of years now. And every time you play her team, she seems to have some rookie that you've never heard for come out and score 100 and wins the match by like 20 points. You know, you've got, you know, some super primo, like if you're looking at your team here, Matthew, you've got like Bailey Smith. For some reason, they don't have Bailey Smith. They have some 99k rookie, and Bailey Smith gets tagged and gets like 50, and their rookie gets like 110, and they win the match. And it seems to happen every time. I swear she's the luckiest Supercoach player I have ever seen. I don't know how she does it, but she has those. If you've got a lot of point differences, you can definitely, lose. Like, there's so many players. Like, I look at your team and I'm like, I would, the same if we go back and look at Corey's team. It's like, he's got Nick Martin. Would love Nick Martin. Would love Connor Rosie. Sherry, if you didn't have Sherry, you would have loved Sherry throughout the season. Like, I paid up, 640k or something to get Sherry, and then he goes and does something dumb. He goes and gets himself concussed one week, and then beats the crap out of somebody else the next week. So, who knows? He didn't get concussed. He played, right? But maybe you kind of feel like he might have been... They wouldn't have let him play if he was, but it was still a dumb move. It was kind of an accident, but it looks like... it was careless. I know he didn't... Don't think he knocked the kid out on purpose, the Sparrow kid out on purpose, but what he did was careless. You're swinging your big fucking arms around like that. If you hit someone, you're going to knock them out. When you're twice as tall as everybody else, you've got to be a little bit careful. You've got to get down there. Yes, it is very cruel. Very, very cruel. 50 scores in round 9, but didn't want to go against the popular. And who could have possibly predicted Grundy? He's had a couple of shit seasons now. If you look at Grundy, there's no form or anything last season or anything to show that he could have possibly even, there's no way to predict. If you look at 2024 season stats, 2024. Alright, so scores 139. He's got 71, 99, 114, 93, 158, 83, 143, 102, 118, 86. Actually, he had a pretty good season, but he's still got like 82, 94. And then look at the end of his season last season: 96, 89, 84, 68, 110. How the hell could you pick a player in the ruck doing that? How could you predict that he was going to do that? And at the beginning of this season, he carried on that form. What's he start the season off with? 87, 87, and 86. You'd be fuming. You probably would have traded him in round 4 anyway, even if you had bought him. And he was at 540 or 570. So he was the same. I think he's more expensive than TDK, and you know how TDK started this season. So there's no way you could have picked Grundy. Maybe if these 3 games here, maybe if you went with someone like I don't see how you get Grundy. He gets down to, how much does he actually get down to? He gets down to 500k at some point here. Maybe after he gets 121 and a 135, if you needed to ruck in like round 11, maybe you could pick him up there, but then you've got his buy in round 14. I think this year was just a year where you just never had a really chance to get him, and then all of a sudden he's out of price. He could be 800k this week after he destroys the ruck this week. Gone. Still think there's no guarantee he will continue this form, but he's got a great run. His run is one of the best runs out of it. He's got North with no Sherry. He's got Briggs here. He's got Essendon. It doesn't have a ruck. Oscar or Fort, maybe it's slightly restrictive, but they're still not a huge big boy, so they can still do well here. Geelong's he's going to slaughter, and West Coast Eagles he's going to slaughter. So, something's going to happen for him not to get huge scores in most of these rounds. So, that's why I know you said you were thinking about going English as well. I really waiting for the game sheets to come out. If that guy Max Heath, is that his name? Max Heath is not named for even there. St Kilda, the ruck for St Kilda. I may go Rowan Marshall. Rowan Marshall, I think, has the best. Besides, well, Grundy has the best run. Rowan Marshall has the second best run. I think English has the third best run. But the dual ruck thing scares the crap out of me. Like, the coach even came out and said he was going to play him more forward. So if he's in the team, I'm out. I'm going English, and I'm going to, hope that that's good enough. I think also English is a bit of a pod. I know my opponent has Rowan Marshall, which could be a nasty fade this week. If you're looking at my league, or if we look at my matchup this week, it could be very close. With Brad, very good player Brad. He's coming second in the league. He didn't have... he's got Rosie, so I know it doesn't help you guys, but if Rosie's out this week, it's good for me kind of thing. Sherry, he's got Sherry as well. I don't know how many trades he's got, but he doesn't have Jason or Francis. He doesn't have Nick Martin, and he's got Rowan Marshall as his ruck, so it could be interesting. He's got Sherry and Rowan Marshall, so I wouldn't be surprised if he's got trades, he might go straight from Sherry to Gawn, because I've got Gawn and he doesn't, and then that will be the matchup. So it could go either way. He's predicted to slightly beat me this week, but that's without bringing on Bolton onto the field. He had Bolton as his 23rd primo. So it could be a very close match, and it could be the difference between me finishing the top 8 and not finishing in the top 8. Hey Paris, how you going, buddy? You're the best, mate. You legend. You're a legend. How'd you go? How was your carnage last week, mate? Shall we have a quick look at your team? Bayside Spuds is you, right? Hey G-Bags, how are you, mate? Good to see you. Thanks for dropping by. Which one of these here we go. Which one of these players should I bring in this week? Gawn, Jackson or Grundy? Bont, Dawson or Humphrey or Myers? Any advice for which two? Well, if you can afford Grundy, bring in Grundy, mate. His run is so good. He's in so good form. If you can afford it and it doesn't destroy your team somehow, it doesn't leave you, like, if you have to make 3 trades, like to getting Grundy and a replacement for Jason or Francis, JHF. I think we need an English, Seano. I think that getting the initials around the wrong way.
Me fail English? That's impossible.
That's impossible. I'm definitely going Grundy if I could afford him. I really thought about going 1 down and 1 up, but with 3 trades I couldn't do it to myself. And Bont, Dawson, Humphrey or Myers for JHF. Merrick killed you, Paris. Sorry to hear that, buddy. Yeah, Marshall played 23%, yeah. So I'm definitely either going Gawn or Grundy. Jackson's I figured, well, if you go Grundy, you probably can't afford the Bont or the Dawson, right? You're going something like Gawn and Bont, and then you're going probably like Grundy and either like a Myers or a Humphrey. If that's what you're doing, G-Bags, let me know. If you could afford to get Grundy and anyone, get Grundy and Bont or Dawson. I like them both, but Dawson's got a pretty good run coming into the year. Either of those, I mean, Bont's starting to get some form and he's a captain choice every week, so alright, so yeah, this makes it a little bit more tricky, G-Bags. So what do you reckon out there, crew? What would you do? Gawn or Bont or Grundy? So it's Gawn and Bont or Grundy and Humphrey. Yeah, I don't trust Humphrey, even though with Torque Miller going down, he may get some more CBA time. Let's have a look at the CBA time that he did get. Someone said he had like 80% after Torque Miller going down, so I want to see that for my own eyes. CBAs, Gold Coast Suns. Last match, Bailey Humphrey here, he had 82%. So, and what did he score? What did he score with 82% CBAs? Now, who's to say they don't bring somebody else in, like a Will Graham? He scored 86. I mean, he could score a lot more with that in the CBAs, but yeah, I mean, potentially, I would probably go. I think Gawn and Bont are safer, and honestly, I think they could probably score more, because if Gawn has a good game and gets 150, and Bont has a good game and gets 150, well, that's 300. Whereas if Grundy gets a 150 or say a 170 or even a 180, gets a huge score, and Humphrey gets a 60, that's only 230 or 240, you know? It's I think the safer way and the potentially better way is Gawn and Bont. But if you could have afforded, say, like Grundy and Bont or Grundy and Dawson, I'd say do that in a second. But yeah, I'm thinking if you add the two scores together, Gawn and Bont potentially outscore Grundy, and if you did it to now to the end of the season, depending on the not knowing exactly what Humphrey's role is going to be, whether they're going to bring in another midfielder, whether he's just going to get Torque Miller's time like he did last week. I think it's a little bit of an unknown. Well, you know what you're getting with Bont and Gawn, or Dawson and Gawn. You know that they're both potential big scorers. You know that Dawson and Bont are playing in the midfield, and I mean, maybe Bont goes forward a bit, but sometimes that helps his score. So you're not going to have to worry about that. And obviously Gawn, they're not going to play a double ruck set up with Gawn. You would think Melbourne at the moment, they're just going to play him, So I think both potentially points-wise and safety-wise, you're probably better to go that way. Yeah, that's just it. And I mean, I hate to say it, but I mean, Grundy, he did have a stretch of bad games earlier on in the year, so it's possible. It doesn't look likely, but it is possible. What Paris did? He stretched your team. He did stretches with your team. Is that what you're talking about? I'm going to assume that's what you meant. He did, he stretched your team to the limit. He didn't screw you. That's not what you meant, right? G-Bags, I mean, if it was me personally, I'd probably go with the two of them. So, anyone got any trades left? Does that, G-Bags, how's that leave you trades? Does that give you any trades? You still ranked 73, which is okay. Let's have it. So this week, what are your issues this week? Campbell Gray, isn't this a kick in the balls? Campbell Gray now rubbed out for basically the rest of the season. Got re-injured himself. Re-fucking injured himself. I don't know if it was just they decided that, let's go down to Richmond, that he was supposed to come back like this week, but now he's Campbell Gray needs 6 to 8 weeks. Boo. Gray has had a setback. So any chance of him playing for the rest of the season is out, which I kind of hoped he might get a bit of coverage. And it wasn't the rookie situation was pretty shit last week too, with Zach Johnson being a sub. I mean, with all these injury at Essendon in the first quarter, whatever, gets him on, he gets 41. And then Clark only with a 22. And I'll keep saying it, effing Sims, 10 points from a whole game. Jesus, 10 points from a whole game. How's that even possible? You don't speak all things to your team. His ceiling is huge, yeah. So, I mean, Bont doesn't have a great record against Brizzy, but I'm still backing him for my vice captain this week. 99, 89 and 108. Not a great record for someone that I'm putting the vice captain on. but every time I don't put the vice captain on him, he goes and does this. Just like last week, I put the vice captain on Dacos. So maybe this means if you're out there, you shouldn't do what I'm doing. But every time I pick Bont for vice captain, he gets a shit score. Every time I don't pick him, he gets 150 plus. Yeah, I like that. Because you're playing the big 3 ruck. I would definitely do that. Paris. Yeah, chucking Marshall up there and then get whoever the best player that you could possibly afford. You probably want Dangerfield. Oh no, you got Darcy there to play as well. Zorko, what are you doing in the back line? You got any play? So, Zorko comes on for Rosie. Oh, McCarthy goes back. McCarthy plays. So you'll have Zorko and McCarthy, and then Sarah here. And then, yeah, you can have, you still got a flex, option here to try and get the best player on the field. Marshall up here. And then, yeah, whoever you can afford who's the best player. You know, basically, I think you've already got Darcy. You've already got the full. You can pretty much afford to get whoever you think is going to be the best in each line. Yeah, you got lots of cover, which is good with Danger there as well, mate. I mean, I know he got your 43 last week, but he's still reasonable cover, and he's still someone that can get you 100 on a good day. I still like the decision of you getting him. I still like that little chat that we had before we decided to get him. I was happy when I got McRae last week. Came out, got me. That was my trade last week, right? Where I got in McRae. And he paid off for me. Best fixture, yes. Saints have a very good fixture coming up. Plus, he's a forward. You know, he's almost definitely the top 6 of his line in the forward line. So, you know, is there a better midfielder than him? Probably. But he's got he has got the mid-forward DPP action going, and he's probably in the top 3 forwards at the end of the season. So, you know, plus he has a huge ceiling. You know, if McRae has a decent game in the midfield, I mean, he can channel the McRae of old. Let's see, he did it. We got 162 in game 2 of the season. He got a 160 in game 8. That's bigger than, you know, some of your midfielders are doing. Some of your midfielder onlys are doing. So he hasn't done it for a while. Like, obviously, he had a bad stretch here, and then 130 is the best he's done in like the last about 7 or 8 rounds. But are the teams out, or you know that for sure? Did you hear what the coach said? The coach is like, oh, if he wants to play, he can play. I was like, holy shit, that's not. Since when has the player been the doctor? Since when has the player been the doctor? But I wouldn't be. I mean, I expect he's out, right? I mean, hard to play with a fractured hand or whatever it is. With the you know, they didn't say broken. They just said fractured, didn't they? Which is fractured a nice way of saying broken? Yeah, Corey, where did you hear this? Questionable at this stage. We'll know when the team sheets come out pretty shortly. I mean, surely though, if the coach says, if you want to play, you can play, he'll just say, I'll play, right? Isn't that what the captain of every team says? He doesn't matter whether he is. It's not like the old days, right? I mean, maybe we don't live in the old days or whatever, where Dipper runs around and plays with fucking 3 broken ribs or whatever. You know, or people have got like I mean, Jason Horne-Francis played 3/4 of a match with a fucking broken leg last year, or a fractured foot last week, and destroyed the Eagles. So, you know, if they said to Rosie, do you want to play? I assume he says yes. But if you ask the doctors, he probably says no. Rosie is soft. Most of the players today are soft, I would say, Paris, compared to older days. Not compared to if I ran into them, you know, on an oval where I'd probably like knock myself out. But yeah, compared to the old days. And, I mean, can Port make the finals? it's touch and go, right? Probably mathematically yes, likelihood probably no. You know, the likelihood of them making the finals is not great. I mean, I guess it's possible. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games to go. I mean, I guess all these teams are possible, but you know, you'd want to win pretty much every game. I would get 40 touches with a ruptured ASL. Sure I would, yeah. Why not? Mate, when you get to my age, you fucking injure yourself getting out of bed in the morning. Not joking. I can disculated my own finger just getting out of bed. Literally rolled out of bed and then had to have my finger in a cast for like 3 months. That's what happens when you get old, boys. Boys and girls, bits of you start falling off. You're just walking along and all of a sudden your leg falls off and you're like, what was that? And you turn around and there's your leg laying on the ground and you're like, oh shit, better fucking pick that up and go and get it stitched back on. Get the sticky tape out. That's what happens. That's what happens when you get old. A lot of these guys are young and fit though, so, but you know, sneezing a couple of months ago, I've had a sore back for years and I've fucking hurt my back plenty of times by sneezing, like triggered it. You know, it's what happens, mate. It's called getting old. Like what my dad says. My dad's in his 80s. He goes to the doctor and he's like, I'm not feeling very good. Feel a bit lethargic and everything. And, you know, the doctor's like, you know what's wrong with you? He's like, what? And he's like, you're fucking old. That's what's wrong with you. It's like, oh, that's my expert analysis. Is you're old. That's what's wrong with you. So yeah, I was tempted to do a little bit of what you were talking about, G-Bags, where I was going to go. I wasn't even going to get 2 good players. I was going to go Johnson down to 99k and then Sherry up to Grundy. But this week I think just shows you need trades. You need trades coming. Now I know I said it the whole time, and I'm no fucking Supercoach expert. Most of the other content creators have a score higher than me and higher up than me, but 3 to 4 trades coming out of the buys was never enough. And next year, I'll be hoping to have 1 trade per game. So coming out of the buys, 8 games to go, I want 8 trades. Now, I heard somebody else say he likes half a trade. To me, that's not enough because it only takes, and I wouldn't even mind a boost. Imagine how helpful it would be to have trades and a boost this week. Like all these people who have got Nick Martin, Connor Rosie, Sherry, you know, maybe they've got a Jason Horne-Francis as well. I mean, who else? Torque Miller. If you have Torque Miller in your team, he's one we missed earlier. If you've got 4 of any of those 3, of any of those 5, you know, you have to get rid of Torque Miller pretty much. You have to get rid of Nick Martin. You have to maybe you don't have to get rid of Sherry, but you know, you have to get rid of Horne-Francis. So, I mean, a boost, and if you had to come out of the buys with 8 trades instead of I think I had 5 or 6, and you still had a boost, this is the week where you could really jump other people. And I got a feeling, even though I don't love my team, I have to admit, I don't really like my team. I've still got, where is he? Doherty in the team, who, even though the coach promised he wouldn't be moved out of the back line, was moved out of the back line onto the wing last week, which Sean said a few words starting with F when he saw that. Quite a few words in a kind of a rhyming string that all started with F when he saw that Doherty got moved out of the back line onto the wing, because he went Doherty over McKercher back in the day when McKercher and him were about the same price, and moved from 2.5k to first. That is correct. It's not, but it is. I guess I'm thinking a little bit more, Paris, about my leagues. If I was going for the top, like you are, if I'm in the top 100 and you want to burn your trades and try and get number one, I guess I'm behind that. I guess I'm behind that. But me, just as important as my overall ranking is my league. I want to win my league. It's 6 months of me bragging and giving my friends shit by saying that I'm the premier and how I beat you in the grand final, and bragging, and that's 6 months of barbecues and parties where they have to put up with that shit. So that is worth a lot to me. Annoying my friends for 6 months, that's worth saving a few trades. A lot of teams have the same players. That's it. That's it too. Now, I watched a really interesting content creator video. The two boys from George and SDS did a video on what they learnt this year. Both are much higher placed than me, so I highly recommend having a look at that video. Shout out to the two guys. I usually watch their content each week, and they're both very highly placed and very good players. And they talked about what they learnt from this season and what they're going to do next season. And SDS said the one thing that I've said this season, but I always struggle with at the beginning of every season. When we're chatting next season, guys, Paris and Corey and Matthew and G-Bags, when we're chatting before the season starts next year, hopefully you guys will still be watching my videos and won't be sick of my shit by then. I want you to remind me it's all about value. The people who have won Supercoach before, they all say the same thing. You go value picks. And that doesn't have to mean cheapos. It just means like if Bont is still 600k at the beginning of next season, that's value. He can score that. And same with Butters. 600k is probably value at that price. But then am I going to pay 600k for a Zorko or a Whitfield or whatever? No, I'm not. I'm going to buy them, get whoever's a little bit unders and wait for them to drop, because every single player pretty much has dropped this year. The only one that hasn't dropped is Bailey Smith, who kind of has dropped now. He went up to 650 and now he's back down to 569, but he's the only one really who started really cheap and has got to a unattainable price almost. Everybody, all these, Wangadine was almost 500k. Zorko was under 500k. Dale is 500k now, under 500k now. Whitfield's under 500k now, and Sinclair's under 500k now. At the beginning of the year, you could you could think that almost all of these players are 600k. I don't think any of them are below 550k at the beginning of the season. Quite easily. So, and then same what a Butters, Dacos got down to 530, Bont got down to 570, 580, Matt Rowler picked him up for 470 or something, Brayshaw's down to 540 after being close to 600 at the beginning of the season. Sheasel paid 600k for him, and now, so I won't be doing that next season. We'll be picking off whoever the cheaper ones are. The cheapest ones who I think could potentially become a keeper. That's what I'm going to think for next season. So you guys got to remind me about that. When I start getting excited and going, Grundy's 700k, I want to get Grundy. You're like, Seano, you dickhead. Remember what you said? Listen, dickhead, remember what you said last year? You're going to go value. It was a really good video. I really like it, as in... They both are very good players. They both very highly ranked. I know they had a rough run last week, but I really like the video and everything they said. The only one thing which I'm not 100% agree on, SDS said he's still going to go the mid prices, and I think I'm really going to go as best as I can to guns and rookies and avoid too many mid prices. Hey Brad, how you going? Oh, it's you and me. Yeah, it's you and me, Brad, this week. We're just discussing this, Brad. I guess you better not tell me your secrets, but I guess you've already seen my secrets. You've seen what I'm doing, so I guess have you got trades? Are you going to trade and try and beat me this week, Brad? This is the Brad that I'm playing every week this week, mate. Everyone, I don't know, Brad here. This is team looks evenly matched at the moment, but once you bring Bolton back onto the field, I don't know how evenly matched it's going to be. We're both kind of lucky that neither of us had Horn Francis or Nick Martin. I do see you do have Connor Rosie, right? Hopefully, hopefully for me he doesn't play, but hopefully for you he does. Yeah, I think Brad, he already beat me once during the season. You've got the same amount as me and used too. Let me guess, Brad, you got Gorn for Cherry. Who was your other trade? You didn't. I didn't know. Did you need to trade another trade? Don't worry, I'm not changing my trades. I'm going to go English, mate. You've got Marshall, I've got English. Well, I'll go the difference. I will give this disclaimer. If Max Heath is not named in the teams, I still might go Marshall. Not really to counter you, but just because I think he's got a better run and he could score higher. But otherwise, I'm going English. I think give us a point of difference, mate. We'll fight it out. One of us will win. You're higher than me on the. I need to beat you and Chris. My next two games are you in number 2 spot and Chris in number 4 spot. So for me to stay in the 8 pretty much, I have to beat at least one of you guys. And to make the top 4, I'd have to beat both of you guys. And you both have better teams than I do. So, and I believe Chris's team also didn't have a lot of, he doesn't have any Talk Millers, or I think he also doesn't have Jason or Francis. So, yeah, I think it should be close, mate. Who was your other trade? So you made 2 trades. I don't see any other problems with your team, mate. Who was your other trade? I mean, I don't think you're trading Rosie for 1 week, right? You're going to keep... I wouldn't be trading Rosie if I was you. You upgrading Bolton or something? Or are you going down to a rookie? Well, I reckon you're probably getting Gorn, because you're going Sherry to Gorn, right? You got Marshall, you're going straight Sherry to Gorn. Absolute carnage. A lot of teams will suffer. I think, like I said, I was lucky that I didn't have as good a team as I would have liked, because I definitely wanted Nick Martin and both Jason or Francis in my team, and I wouldn't have minded having Talk Miller in my team either. You went Grundy. Holy God help me, Brad. So you went 1 down and 1 up. Is that what you did? So I seriously considered doing this. That could be the winning move for you this week, considering Grundy's matchup v North Melbourne with no ruck. Yeah, that could be the difference between you crushing me. Yeah. So I seriously considered that, but that would have left me to 1 trade. And considering the carnage this week, I didn't want to leave myself with 1 trade. If I do, by some miracle, beat you this week or beat Chris next week and I make it into the Supercoach finals, and maybe those 2 trades get me through, Maybe I come up against someone who has no trades in the Supercoach finals, and one of those trades, we both have 22 players and somebody goes down and I get to trade somebody on and they're stuck with a 0. So yeah, I know, Paris, I wasn't happy. You sure you don't want to get Gorn, Brad? You sure you don't want to change your mind and get Gorn? Save yourself a trade. Oh, I guess being different is better though, right? So it'll be Marshall and Grundy versus Gorn and English. This should be very interesting. Maybe they'll even themselves out. Maybe if the double ruck thing happens for Marshall gets like if I'm lucky, maybe he gets you a 80 and Grundy gets a 150, and maybe for me, McGorn gets a 150 and English gets an 100 or something, and maybe I just pip you there somewhere. But I am afraid of Grundy. Good luck this week, Brad. I would really like to win, but yeah, good luck this week, mate. Yeah, it just works out. I don't know, I don't know. I don't love it, actually. My fate's in my own hands, but I have to beat 2 better teams who are above me. I kind of wish that I was playing 2 of the bottom teams to get myself could keep myself in my position, because the way I play, if I lose both this week and next week, there's a good chance I drop out of the 8. There's 2 guys on 44, Matt and John. They win this week, and Jenny all below me. If they will win this week, I'll probably stay ahead of Matt and John in percentage wise. Jenny will go ahead of me, but then the week after, if they beat me, I'll be out of the 8. So if I lose 2 weeks in a row, I'll be out of the 8, which will be very upsetting to poor Seano. And then it's Supercoach final. So I literally play 2 games, lose, and then I'm out of the finals. Yeah, it's just teeny. Yeah, so there'll be a lot of bitching and moaning in 2 weeks' time. If Seano finishes in 9th position in his league, there'll be absolute, you know, I won't be happy chappy. But let's just say I've got those 2 trades right. If I need to burn both of those trades next week to beat Chris, I could do it. At least I've got them right. If there's some more carnage this week and, you know, or I just want, you know, somebody I want to get, so I could go like 1 down next week and get Doherty up to a full like Jordan Dawson or someone and just really, you know, just go for it. And then in the finals, I'll probably do that. If it's a difference between me making the top 8 and not making the top 8, I'll throw those 2 trades at it next week. So if you beat me, Brad, this week, you can almost guarantee that I'll probably make 2 trades next week just to try to get a full-on primo into get like either the Doherty or the Mills out and get the full-on primo whoever I think can score the most. Yeah, Grundy's run is super good, Brad. I mean, if I had the money, or if I had, you know, I figure it's enough for me to take a risk this week. I'm afraid of Grundy, but I'm hoping that Marshall's going to bring you down to earth a little bit. That's what I'm hoping for. Or maybe English and Gawn can pull 2 mega games out of their asses. I don't know. I mean, at least this way I think I have a chance. If I just went Gawn and Marshall, I don't think I have as much chance. This way I got more of a chance. I think it'll be close. It might come down a lot to captain choices, and don't get excited because these aren't written in stone, these 2 captain choices, but it, like it has most weeks, it could just come down to captain. I assume you're going to make Grundy your vice captain or your captain, which is scary as hell. So that's fucking scary. Just the fact that you can make Grundy your vice captain or your captain. But the thing is, Paris, he's playing 30% forward last week. If he doesn't play 30% forward, 150. I think he gets 150. So, knowing my luck, Heath probably gets dropped this week. He almost got suspended. He got off, right? But I think Marshall's probably still good for 100. I mean, if he kicks a few goals or whatever, he still could get 110, 120. But I think... you know, I have that slight, just give me a glimmer of hope, right? Just give me a little glimmer of hope that maybe the 2 of them play together. Are the teams out yet, crew? Not quite yet. So, yeah. Well, good luck this week, Brad. Hopefully Chris loses. Sorry, Chris. Sorry, Chris. But hopefully, I don't think he will, though. I think he's got a pretty easy matchup this week. Where is he? Yeah, he's playing 14th and predicted to win by an easy 170 points before he's altered his team. Let's have a quick look. I'm pretty sure he doesn't have too much carnage in his team. He's got Rosie on the bench. He's got no JFH. JFH? Why do I always say JFH? Jason fucking Horny, man.
English? That's impossible.
That's impossible. I got a feeling that it might be a little bit like this week.
When I'm in command, every mission's a suicide mission.
This week, that's probably next week. If I burn the 2 trades, Brad, if you beat me this week and then I play Chris next week, let's do it one more time. How does Zap think I'm going to play next week?
When I'm in command, every mission's a suicide mission.
Every week is a suicide mission when Seano's in command of a Supercoach team. So, yep. I mean, I guess in some ways, the 3 of us all got lucky by not having too many of these. You know, he doesn't even have Rosie, so he doesn't even have that issue. Oh, he does. You both have Rosie, which, me being me, and trading me out like a dumbass, I don't have him. He doesn't have Sherry, is that right? He doesn't have Sherry here. He's got Jackson instead. Oh no, he's got Sherry, so he's going to probably do something there. So very similar. Very, very similar. Yeah. What a ride this Supercoach season's been, hey? How tricky has it been? How long have we got to the game? 1 hour and 22 minutes. Plenty of time. Yeah, I really was thinking of going like Johnson down to... I was really thinking about doing the Grundy thing, but you know, I was going to go down to maybe not even George Stevens, maybe the 99k one, Rowan Steele, and again that way I could afford Grundy. That would give me 740, but I just can't. I'd prefer to take the risk this week with a potential that something goes right. Like I get a bit lucky against you, Brad, and I win. And then I don't have to, then next week I can feel what I want to do, or if I lose against you this week, I'll go swing for the fences next week and use those 2 trades. I'm seriously worried about Doherty though, even though, I mean, Mills... I gave Mills a big talk up last week after he got 100 right. I'm like, Mills is back. Everyone said he was going to be shit and he's not going to get 50 again. He fucking got 50 again. Made me eat my words, he did. And Doherty, fucking Voss, like, Jesus Christ. Oh, we brought him back in the team. We had a talk about how, you know, he plays the best at back, and you know, we put him back in the VFL and he played really well, and he came back into the side and he played really well, that halfback position. Oh no, we're going to put him on the wing. Oh, Jesus. Meantime, McKercher's scoring 120 every week and I'm getting 65. That was bad. I've made a lot of bad calls here this year. That was a bad call. That was a bad call. But, you know, and he even threatened to get a big 150 a couple of games and he just couldn't deliver. So, yep, there's anybody else out there wants to have a look at their team? Anyone else there got any questions about, you know, how they're going like G-Bags did on what trades they think they should do? Back G-Bags, if you're still watching, definitely, if I was you, I'd be doing the Gorn and the Bont. Yep, I would be thinking about that. Also, I guess it depends a little bit of G-Bags about what you're going for. If you're going for overall rank, the Grundy option, the Grundy and Humphreys option could be the way to go, just because they're 2 big pods. Nobody's got them. If they go great to the end of the season, you know you're going to pay off. But personally, I think safer is Gorn and Bont, and I think Gorn and Bont can potentially score more than Grundy and you know, Grundy and Humphreys, just because I'm afraid Humphreys is going to give you a 50 or a 60 one week, and it doesn't matter. You know, that means even if Grundy gets you 200 plus a 50, it's still only 250, where that means, you know, Bont and Gorn only need to get 125 each, which is very, very doable for them. I mean, 200 is a big score. You expect that Grundy might get 200 this week, but, you know, he might not. I mean, we've said that a few times, right? We've said, the matchup's really good, like Bont versus Richmond, he should get 200, and he hasn't. I think rucks are kind of a bit of a different beast, but, you know, I still think there's no guarantee. I'd be surprised if Grundy went less than 130 to 140 for the rest of the year, but there's no guarantee he doesn't, and there's no guarantee he doesn't just drop like an 80 in there somewhere. You know, or a 90. Maybe he gets a knock. We saw what happened to Dacos. He got 3 knocks in a game. You know, it only takes another ruckman to stick his knee in his guts or something, you know, in a ruck contest. Who's really good at doing that? Who got a warning for doing that just the other week? Jumping and kneeing somebody else in the guts. Maybe do they play GWS? Toby Green could karate kick him in the nuts. That might happen. He's playing up forward. It's always a possibility, right? If you got Toby Green in your team. So yeah, it is a very, very tough year. What else do we want to talk about? So I did like, once again, I really liked that video. I think you guys should go back and check out that video. I think it was on George's channel, George Supercoach, with him and SDS, who I think his name is Steve, maybe. Talked about what to do out next year, and I really I'm already thinking about next year. Usually Supercoach assistant picker comes out around Christmas time. Every year I think I say it's an early Christmas present. I have a birthday in late December, and I usually say for my birthday I usually get the assistant picker comes out and I get to pick a Supercoach team. So I always like that, get a Christmas present, get to pick a team, have a bit of a play around, see who's going to be cheap. Oh, who did they discuss? They discussed some of the people who they thought were going to be potentially mid prices or value picks. Who did they say? Do you remember, Paris, who some of the players are that they said they thought they are going to be decent picks next year? Oh, I know they said the number one player pick they think will be Jager Smith. They think they'll be the number one pick player. I actually think the number one pick player will probably be Tristan Sherry next year. Even though it usually is some rookie or something. If we take out rookies, I think the number one picked player at the beginning of next season will be Tristan Sherry. Unless he, at his current price, I can't see me picking anybody else but him. Hopefully he won't, forearm too many people in the head. Hopefully, imagine if he did that again in the last round and got rubbed out for another 2 or 3 and didn't start the season. That'd make things interesting. And yeah, we didn't have a choice out of Bontel Butters at the beginning of next year. We'll see what they are. The Richmond rookie, Smiley. Yeah, he could be well picked. Where did Dan Curtin come from? Holy shit. I know they talked about the players they missed, and geez, there was a lot of those players. Well, players like Sam Powell-Pepper that I traded out, Max Hall that I never got, who's killing it now. Sandy Brock is killed it. I didn't have him. A lot of these, just one of those years where these players where I thought I was making the right decision and I got screwed. Tom Gross, Josh Smiley, the Richmond, right? Matthew, Richmond player. I don't know. He's not really a mid-price though. He's a rookie, right? But any of these rookies that get a bit injured, and what about Sam Laylor? How much is he going to be worth playing for Richmond? He looks good when he played this year. I think he might be a little bit too expensive for the Tigers. Yeah, they're probably going to have a few good picks this year as well. If they finish down the bottom near us, they might get a decent player or two, which they actually play. Hopefully the Eagles manage to get a decent player or two, which they play. And if Harley Reid fucks off, maybe we get some more picks and get some more from there. Don't think Harley Reid will leave this year, but I think he'll leave the year after for sure. His little taunt to Jason Horne-Francis might come back to haunt him. Running back to mummy after 1 year, well, he'll run back to mummy after 3 years. Pretty much the same. Kind of feels like a bit of a mummy's boy, to be honest. He whinges and complains enough. I keep seeing people defending him, and yes, he's got skill, but he gives away too many free kicks. Layla probably 2 deer next year. Now 2 hammies this year, not great. Yeah, I think that's it. Anyone that's done 2 hammies in a year, you probably want to give him a full season, or at least half a season, to make sure he's okay. You're certainly not. He's probably one of the ones you want to bring in on his 3rd game. He's probably not one you want to start the season with. Yeah, so I think the higher price rookies, they worked and they didn't this year, but I think it's better to do higher price rookies than the mid prices. I'd much prefer to get we got Finn O'Callaghan. It didn't work out, but then I went down from Phil O'Callaghan to, I think I either got a Lindsay or a Levi Ashcroft that I missed at the beginning. Both of them were cheaper. I prefer to do that and then upgrade maybe another You know, if you got two 200k rookies, we had Nod, who was really good at the beginning of this year. So, say you got the two of them, I'd prefer to go get them, go down to either the better rookie that's cheaper, or maybe go down to another rookie that's not, you know, not performing as well. If you got two of them and they're both not working, well, you go down one and you take the other one up to the best mid-pricer. You know, you make sure you get the best mid-pricer. You don't fill your team with them to start off with. You don't do like I did, where you had the Perryman and you had the Jaden Shorts, who, by the way, Jaden Short came out and scored, like, what did he get, 115 this week? It's like, fuck, he waited to round 19 to have his peak score, have a decent score. Where was that in rounds 1 to 4 or something when I had him? Yeah, I think try not to get sucked in by the too many of the... You're going to have to pick some mid-prices, but, you know, and the other thing I'm really thinking about next year, super cheap in the forward line. Like, this is what we've done most years until this year. And even this year, there were so many value options. You know, we got a lot of them, and some worked. Most of them actually worked in the forward line. Next year, we're not going to have any of these mid-forward options, and I think you're going to be picking Jeremy Cameron at 350k. I can't see a world where you got 5 mid, you know, forwards in your... This is just not happening next year. None of these guys are going to get... Only one I've got a chance. Daniel will be he'll be defence. Daniel will be pure defence, and no one's picking him as pure defence, so he's a big cross. Warner... It's going to be pure mid, no one's picking him. Jake McRae is going to be pure mid, no one's picking him. And Petrarca is going to be pure mid, who could be a sneaky... Petrarca could be one of these value picks we're talking about next year. He's not a mid-pricer. He's a fallen primo who we know can score 110, 120 a week when he hits form and when he's maybe surrounded by a bit of help. So he could be one I'd be looking at as a value option in my midfield next year. Rankin, he might get the mid-forward status. With these last few games he's playing in forward, he might keep his mid-forward status. Maybe. Out of all these dudes, he's the only one I reckon who's potentially keeping his status. So you might have a team. Your team next year might look like Darcy, Riley, Philrop, or whatever his fucking name is.
Me fail English?
That's impossible. You know, Jeremy Cameron, you know, these dudes that you might have a Sam Flanders in there for 300 or something. Just, I mean, I know they're mid-prices, but they might be your primos. That might, you know, Rankin might be your number one dude at 510k or something. And then you might have like 2 300k dudes and 3 rookies here. I'm thinking that I'm going to spend as cheap as I can in the forward line. Super value in the defense, like no one more than 550. Maybe one player more than 5, but probably not, because they all come down in the back line eventually. So no one more than 550. The only place I'm playing more than 600k for a player, or around 600k, is the midfield and the ruck. You know, you can almost say if everyone was this price at the beginning next year, start team off with Butters, Bont, Gawn and Sherry. Those 4 players, and then build a team around it. You got 4 captain and vice captain options, and then just make everybody else fit in. Just make everybody else fit in and see how you go. Let's have a look at who else. Let's tell who else might be. Oh, they talked about Nick Newman potentially being cheap next year after being out all of this year. Let's see if we do that. Players, past seasons, 2024. Filters, what about defenders? Anyone up there which we... Yeah, so Sam Flanders could be a mid-pricer that you could be looking at next year, depending on his role. If he stays at Gold Coast, they're kind of showing that they don't want to play him in that back role that he did so well out the year before. So, and in the midfield. So I'm not too sure why he hasn't got that role back. He was so good at that role last year, but I guess they're playing well and they're winning, so they don't want to change a winning formula, maybe. He could be an option. He's going to be very cheap. He's going to be affordable. And Nick Newman, people are talking about, out for the season. He hasn't played at all this season. He could be get a big reduction. Could be less than he could be 450 or something. Dan Houston could be seriously cheap next year. James Sicily could be a good one. If James Sicily is less than 400k, and there's any indication he's going to play in the back line and not forward, that could be a very good pick next year. Jake Lloyd's making a bit of a comeback. There's probably a heap of Essendon players that are probably going to be cheap. Matt Roberts is going to be cheap again. So yeah, again, just going to have to. People like Matt Roberts, the ones I think I'm going to avoid. They're going to be the mid prices. They're going to be the Perryman and the Jordan Shorts of next year, where I prefer to go a Fallen Primo, even like a Sheasel. If Sheasel's at 450 the beginning of next year. He's been there. He's proven that he can go big. I think he could be, someone we're snapping at. Maybe he gets mid forward. Maybe Sheasel. If Sheasel gets mid forward, I think he'll be one of and he's about 450. He'll be the buy. Everyone will buy Sheasel next year for, maybe under 500k, mid forward. He's one of the ones who'll get that DPP. I think a lot of people will jump on that. What about in the midfield? Patrick Cripps will be really cheap at the beginning of the year next year, by the looks of things. LDU could be a good starting pick at the beginning of next year. Less than 500k, has got runs on the board before. Jack Steele could be cheap, Jack Sinclair, if he stays around this under 550k, I think he'll almost be an almost guaranteed pick. Hayden Young, if he due to play potentially this week, could be a really good pickup next year. Fallen, not so much a bit price. Again, I look at him more as a Fallen Primo. When Jai Cadwell comes back, I think he could be a good pick. Oh, people like, they talked about the Hawthorn dude. What's his name? Guy got injured early on in the year. Looks really good. Hawthorn kid. Young guy. Will Day. There he is. Will Day could be a good starting pick of the next year. There's what about, and let's go to a forward line. So these are the players. I'm looking at the year before, just looking who might get a good discount. Who might get a decent hit discount? Jesse Hogan, if for some reason he's less than 400k, people might go there. Jason Hall-Francis, you'll probably, if he is around 450, everyone's going to buy him. He might be a mid-only, but even as a mid-only, I think he'll be definitely, again, I don't really look at him as a mid-pricer. I'll be looking at him as I guess he hasn't really been a primo, but he's shown us he can be a primo. So for next year, I think he could be a valid pick. Fucking Tim Kelly, if you could actually play like even an inch of like how you did when you played for Geelong, you had 300k, you'd be the biggest fucking bargain ever. If Tim Kelly, if they put him back in the midfield, just let him play midfield, I'd snap him up at that price in the forward line. What is his average this year? 40, 70, 20, 50, 90. Jesus, that's terrible. It's supposed to be the Eagles' best midfielder. Jeremy Cameron, people might be going there. Graham Myers people could be looking at that next year. Probably be seriously considering him this week if you're looking for a Jason Horne-Francis replacement and you already have all the other big kids, the big boys and girls. There was mention of Kyle Lohman. I don't think I'd go there. Sam Darcy, I think, will be picked in a lot of forward lines beginning of next year. Oh, they talked about Philippou. Philippou will be cheap and probably will be worth a gamble in your forward line, as he could be the one or two mid prices. I think the forward line is where I'm not going to mind taking a few chances in the forward line with the mid pricer types, but in the back line and the midfield, it's going to be guns and rookies with potentially one. None of this two bullshit, two mid prices. There'll be one. Definitely only one in the back line. In the midfield, you got a few more spots. Maybe you could fit in two potentials. Like this year, I guess if you had to go on Finn Callahan and Shearer and kept them both, you'd be happy as a pig and shit. I went Finn Callahan and I sold him. So, but maybe two. But as we looked, I think there's going to be people like Horne-Francis stuff. There'll be a few options for around that 450 mark in your midfield. And some of these forwards that we have now, like you'll be looking at people like, Petrarca, Horne-Francis, Chad Warner will all be around the 450 to 500 mark. Teams out yet, crew? Hey, the teams are out. All right. Here we go. Teams are out. All right. Let's have a look and see what's going on here. So, Brisbane versus Bulldogs. Like, we've already looked at Essendon. Half the fucking team's out. Dylan Shield, Archie Perkins, like, no one really Supercoach, relevant there, unless you've got Vigo sitting on the bench. Caniglio and Max in, Toby in, Josh Kelly out, Josh Hogan out, Harvey Thomas. Okay. So, Brisbane versus Bulldogs. In for Brizzy, you got Big Bruce and Sam, and out Zach Bailey and Noah Ainsworth. In for Western Bulldogs, Liam Jones, Luke Cleary, Lachlan McNeil, admitted Nick Caulfield, Josh Doolan and Cooper Hines. I don't think there should be anything too fancy about that. Then on Saturday, we have Hawthorn versus Port Adelaide. Here's a one that we were all waiting for. Hawks in, Bailey McDonald, Jack Scrimshaw, Mitch Lewis. Out to Cam McKenzie. However, Giath, we're going to call him. Where are you, Ralph?
Me fail English? That's impossible.
You're probably going to get a few of these. And Choi out. So Kona Rosie. He's going to be sitting at home being a Kona. Out Connor Rosie, Jason Horne-Francis and Willie Rioli. That's a big 3 out for them. It's a big 3 outs for them. So, yeah, that's pretty rough. A lot of people are waiting for that. So, does that change how their team lines up at all? Ollie Wine, Zach Bartis, who's in the centre, William Drew, Liddy's going to play probably more. Bergman is still listed as defence, so that's going to alter quite a lot of teams. Then we've got Sydney versus North Melbourne, Peter Laddams and Dean Rampy. Does Peter Laddams ever ruck? Does he ever do any rucking? Aaron Francis and Tom McCartan. Isn't Peter Laddams a ruck? If he starts doing a dual ruck with Grundy, it might save some of us. He is named as a ruck. Well, Grundy buyers beware. Maybe he just plays forward though. LDU's back in. Coleman Jones is back in. Teakle is back in, and the Bench is back in. Malay, Sherry, Scott, and Hanson Jr. are out with a new Zach Brand. So Teakle is the ruck here. Going to have a Teakle behind the bush. Followers. Oh no, they've named. Oh my God, they've named Coleman Jones as in the ruck. Looks like they're going to try and double ruck them. Double ruck Grundy. It looks like the plan because they're both rucks, right? Neither of them are rucks. Maybe not. Maybe not. He does play ruck though, right? Is it just me being crazy, crew? He does play ruck. Brian Teakle. Coleman Jones. Grundy's going to slaughter him. It's going to be a slaughter. I tell you right now. Colby McKercher is named on a wing. They like to name him everywhere but where they actually play him. They usually always play him in the back. They named a half forward for fucking 6 weeks. Now they're going to name him in the wing. Yeah, thanks for that. Alright, so we got Carlton. Thank God fucking Doherty's not dropped. Carlton versus Melbourne. Carlton, they got Will White, Francis Evans and Adam Sard's back in. Well, that's good for some of my draft teams. We'll have to go and sort that out in a second. Bring him back on to my draft teams. Out Mitch McGovern, Fantasia and Sonata, so probably not going to be any tagging against the Melbourne team. In Stephen May, Sharp, Lever and Sparrow. Stephen May, some of you might have him in your draft team, so there's a couple I'm going to have a check about for my draft teams, Sard and May. Pitnett named as the number 1 ruck. Where's TDK? Oh, there he is. There's a forward. Thought for a second I couldn't see TDK. Seano's blind. Needs to put his glasses on. And so, as usual, the Eagles are a bit slow getting their team in because we're over in Perth and everything fucking goes a bit slow over here in Perth. Everything's a bit slower here in Perth. Maybe Richmond just haven't changed any of their team. Richmond just haven't made any changes. Seems reasonable. Petrelli, the Petrel. If only Petrel could get the ball a bit more, he'd be a better player. Tim Kelly is in. Liam Ryan is in. They're 3 good ins for us, even though Petrel, I don't know if Petrel's ever going to be a... He just doesn't get the ball enough. If he got the ball 15 to 20 possessions every game, he'd be super effective, but getting the possessions, 6 possessions a game, he just doesn't do enough. Champion... We are the champions is out. Hewitt's managed and Noah Long. Tigers no chance. Oh, fucking don't say that, Matthew. Anybody has a chance against the Eagles, mate. Even at home, we can put up some shit. I think it'll be a close game. It'll be another Essendon Richmond game like you saw the other week where it was fucking shit. Who is the least shit is going to win. Now, don't get me wrong. We've had a few decent games where we've played okay. But we can deliver some absolute gigantic piles of steaming shit on any day at any time. So that could happen. I would love to see this Tim Kelly stay as a follower because that means next year I could get him for 300k in the forward line. Oh, no changes. Yes, they're a chance. I actually think they should probably be favourites, to be honest. They've been playing... Last week, actually, they're a bit like us. They can deliver crap shit. But yes, no, sorry. Yes, they are a chance. No changes, yep. No, they are. I thought for a second there, I was like, fuck you. You're giving the Eagles a little bit too much of a benefit. Sandy Brock, still on there, the bench. Rep Bazzo's still there for my other team, that's good. For my fantasy team, where I brought him in as a cheapo. Alright, let's have Sunday games now. So we've got extended benches. Mitch Nevitt, Tyson Stengel and Sam DeGoning in for the Cats versus St Kilda, where they got Zach Jones, Ryan Bryans, Darcy Wilson, and Harry Shoemaker, making some shoes. Max Heath is named as a forward. Rowan Marshall is named as a follower. So he's in the team, which I know it might not make a huge difference, but that's enough for me to confirm that I'm picking English as my replacement ruck for Sherry, based just on that. If he wasn't in the team, I probably would have gone Marshall, and the fact that it's gives me a differential between my opponent and league, Brad, this week. Might as well swing for the fences. Boxall, Garcia, Sam DeConing I have in one of my draft leagues. Collingwood versus Fremantle. Collingwood have Bo McCreary, Edward Allen, Will Parker, Myercheck, Limpsky and Charlie Dean all as ins. Membry, Dan Houston and Jeremy Howe all out. Hayden Young, Neil Erasmus and Brandon Walker in for Freo. Let's see, is Hayden Young named? I thought they said he was going to come back through the waffle this week, so I'm actually a little bit surprised to see him there. He could be another fallen primo / mid-pricer that you might want in your midfield next year. I saw that Paris, but I'm still going to go Bont. Every time I don't pick Bont, he gets 170, and every time I pick him, he gets 60. So I'm picking him, so you can guarantee he gets a 60 this week. So, I mean, Zach Butters had a shit record against the Eagles last week, and he still got a 150. So I'm just going to back the Bont in and, Bont to Butters. That's what I'm doing. But, I can understand if other people are trying to go other ways. We'll have a bit more of a look when we go back after this. So, last game of the season, of the round, not of the season. That'd be a nightmare. That'd be cruel if it was last game of the season. Adelaide Crows versus Gold Coast Suns. Adelaide, Chris Burgess, Luke Pedler, Hugh Bond, Luke Nankovis, Nick Murray. If you still got Luke Pedler, you'd be happy to see that. Braden Cook and Jordan Butts out. In for Gold Coast, Collins, Moyle, Leonard Lombard and Ben Jepson out. Torque Miller. Ben Jepson is that 99k rookie that I believe that we thought might play earlier on the season. So hopefully, maybe he plays a couple of games and then doesn't play again for a bit, which allows us to get him next year. So there's no real big shocks there. The ones who we thought were going to be out are definitely out. Connor Rosie was probably the only one that we were on the fence about that we weren't too sure, and he's been named out. So prepare for that, crew. If you just be prepared for those. So all green arrows for me. Let's actually have a quick look at my draft, sort that out before the game starts. Make sure the draft players are green arrowed as well. Which one are you? This is the shit team. The shit team. Wagner. Oh, he'll play. Unless he gets dropped for Young. Do we just bring on Jimby just in case? Do that just in case. I don't think he does. I think he holds his spot, but sometimes when it's draft, it's better to just do it early. Tom DeConing still there. That seems fine. As you can see, I've got Roberts here, which is not great. Picked up Walstow this week because it might only be a couple of weeks till he plays. I might have him in the finals. Someone had dropped him, and Matt Crouch as well. Why isn't Matt Crouch fucking playing? Why the fuck isn't Matt Crouch playing? Martin may or may not play. He probably will, but we'll put Delaware on just in case. Everybody else seems fine. Got Rosie again in this team as well. Peatling will give Sanders a run. Alright, that's fine. So vice captain and captain. Zach John. Oh, fuck. Excuse me. Excuse my Fs, but... Oh, fuck. Really? Fuck. That's, you know, Jesus, just give me a bit of coverage, would you? Give me a break. Give me a effing break, Essendon. I mean, you got so many bloody players injured. Do you really need to make him the sub? Can't you find somebody else that could be the fucking sub? Where's the picture? Where's the picture? Where's the picture? Where's the picture? I mean, I guess covered injury in the first 30 seconds. I mean, they've even got a new player, Liam McMahon, and even they're not even going to make him the sub. I mean, where the hell is he playing as a forward? You know anything about that kid, Paris? Liam McMahon? And the Sard doesn't get a run. He's the forward. They're bringing in some new kid. Sard doesn't get a run. Great. So, but really my only coverage is Angus Clark, who is, where was he named? Where's he named? On the bench or on the, named in the back line? Maybe he could get some points. But I've got F all coverage now. Like, if someone's to go down, if there's a laid out anywhere here, hopefully we don't need to depend on Zach Johnson's score. And Sims, if you'd like to get a 40 this week, Sims, get yourself a fucking 40, would you? So he's going to start losing money now, break even at 30. Sims has got break even at 60. So even if I want to go down and up next week, it's a bit of a, you know, it's kind of hurts because I would love to go like one of these other boys. Like, if I had more coverage, I'd love to go like Clark down, Johnson up for a 23rd primo. I mean, why aren't you so devastated with injuries and they're not even playing these guys? I mean, the other thing is, I was going to say, Sarda's probably, you probably prefer him not to play and then he might be cheap next year. But I think, I mean, it looks like if he's getting a good run at it, he could be good for you. Where's he named? Look at him, all on a fucking bench. I can't even see him. Where's he named? I must be so fucking oh, he's out injured. He's not in, he's out injured. I'm like, I can't see him. Yeah, look, they're both of them there. Day Wicks and Saad El Halouli is both of them on the emergencies. Two would get a run. I mean, no, let's bring in a couple of, I mean, I guess Dylan Shield is a veteran player, and so is Jade Gresham. They're never going to leave those two. There's too much experience with those two guys in the team. Even if you wanted to play, I mean, and Archie Perkins has been playing very well as well, right? So, I guess they got a bit of experience coming back. They need a bit of experience. You can kind of understand it. And Vigo, well, I guess they need a ruck. So, I guess they need a ruck. So, that's why Vigo's in there. Got to get the old man, Todd Goldstein. A bit rude calling him old gold, but maybe he's the old gold spearmint version, which I've got sitting in my fridge. Thanks to DR and his old gold. Yeah. So that's, any other surprises there for you guys? Sims got named at least, I guess. So really, that's why I'm keeping these two trades and not doing the Grundy, the down. So I mean, going down with Johnson here is not that dumb a move. I could get someone who, honestly, you know, if we just went to filters and said who's selected to play played less than 3 matches. Nobody? What about less than 200 and... That's it. I thought there was a 99k. The 99k rookie wasn't picked. He wasn't picked. He was not picked. So even if I wanted to do it, I couldn't do it. Even if I wanted to do it, I couldn't do it. Seems you're going to lose money. Selected to play. Less than 3 matches. Oscar Smart. 2 Essendon boys, the 299k Essendon boys. Smart was the subbed off last week. I think that's right. Parrish, you might be able to answer that. I believe he was subbed last week. Time on ground 83, and maybe he wasn't the sub last week. Maybe he wasn't. He just got a 33. Okay then. So that would give me 200k. So even if we put that 200k on top of Zach Johnson, like next week, even though he's going to lose money, we could afford someone who's like 460. I'd have to do something like a Flanders or a Patrick Dangerfield or something like that, like you did, Paris. Hey Joshua, how you going? Rio, yep, we've got you set up. How is everything going, mate? Yeah, Matthew, I mean, I'm with the same option. I could do that, leave myself 1 trade left, and I'm not going to. Got 3 trades, so we're rivalries. We got the Rio Flaggers. Is this the one, buddy? Or was there you one of these ones where we had 2? Yeah, that's you? Cool. Yep, I thought there's someone who I've got, there were 2 people with the exact, like this guy, Knock Knock, has 2 people with the exact same fucking name. I was like, oh shit. Matt with Bojangles. Hey Matt, you're online with us. Got 3 trades. Do I use 2 to go from Zach Johnson and Sherry to Grundy? Do I use 2 to go Zach Johnson and Sherry to Grundy and a DPP player? I mean, if you got 3 trades, you're in the exact same position as I am. And honestly, buddy, if I was you, I'd just be going a straight Sherry to Gorn. I wouldn't be downgrading. Honestly, you've actually got some coverage, which is nice. You've got Hall and Johnson. You've got Clay Hall in the midfield. You got Rosie, so get Clark. Have Clark play. Or even better, put McCartney back there and probably put Hall in... I'd put Hall in your flex, put McCartney back there, and I would just make 1 trade. What position are you in? You're in overall. I mean, I guess I know your overall rank, but there's probably going to be more carnage before the end of the season, mate. I would just make 1 trade. Choose who you like best out of Gorn, Marshall, English, Meek, all those guys, and just do that. I think your back line looks fine. Looks a lot very similar to my back line. Butters, Dacos, Bont, Dawson, Hewitt, Neal, McKercher, Bergman. There's nothing wrong with that. Bergman's a nice little pick here. A lot of us like me, well, this is where I've got Doherty, so I think that's fine. A lot of us had to do that, you know. Jackson and Sherry, it's fine, it's good. If Darcy's out at any point for the rest of the season, he'll go big again. Smith, McRae, Petrarca, Daniel Warner, Shannon, who I like to call him. Obviously, you would like a primo there. So if you do the one trade this week, if you just go, I don't know how much money you got, but if you do the one trade this week, potentially by the end of the season, you can have another primo here, which if you go Grundy this week, you're going to be stuck with. And I like the looks of this kid for the Eagles. I like the looks of him, and I can't see him getting dropped with both Oscar Allen and Jake Waterman being injured. But if he does get dropped, you're kind of a little bit effed. You're just a little bit effed, and you've got no cover to come down here. So if I had your team, I'd make this one trade this week, and then I would potentially, you know, wait a week or two and then try and go maybe a one down, one up situation, a 99k rookie in a week or two, and try and get Shannon or Ben Patton or somebody up to someone who's a little bit more reliable. You know, in a couple of weeks' time, maybe he's worth 250k. You know, maybe you could get someone who's going to be a little bit more reliable there. I mean, the other thing, if you really wanted to go, this is something I considered, and I'm not saying to do it, but I'm just saying it's something that I considered, was going down to Briggs and banking some money and taking up a rookie. If you look at my team, let's get rid of this one. So I considered going from, instead of getting English, going Sherry down to Briggs and banking some money, and then putting that money on top of like Zach Johnson to get another, to get like a 23rd primo. So then I would have had a 23rd primo where I could do some, you know, coverage. And if I was going to burn 2 trades this week, I'd prefer to do it that way because I'm playing more for leagues, and that would have covered me. If I was playing for straight up score, I probably wouldn't do it that way, but playing for the leagues, I seriously considered going down to Briggs, and that would have made me, how much is Briggs? 449, so that's 128 plus, so I have 168, so I would have been for 350. So it's not enough, only like 410k, but I could have put it on top of like a Doherty to get, you know, a super primo, you know, a Jordan Dawson or someone there, you know, maybe, or someone instead of this position here. Just did what I said. Which one? You went straight to Gorn or whatever? Which one? I think with the amount of trades we got, you just got to hold him, mate, because I know we're going to lose cash on him, but you're in a better situation than I am. At least you've got Clay Hall, right, who can cover. So obviously you're going to chuck Bergman back to Rosie this week, and you're going to bring Clay Hall on to the field. And then you've still got, I know he's the sub, but there's no guarantee he'll be the sub next week, even though it's just the second week in a row. I know you're going to lose money on him, but that trade is so valuable, and you don't really need, it's not like if you were getting a 0, I would say fine, but you're not getting a 0. You've got coverage, you've got Bergman back there, you've got Clay Hall playing, you know, Clay Hall can get a decent score if he plays in the midfield. You've got Shanahan covering here. I don't think you need to go down to a 99 rookie. I would be saving that trade for potentially a week or two's time, where you can then try and get this spot. I think is your real worry, your last forward spot. Don't forget this Shannon, he's had a couple of good games, but he is a key forward. He could easily get a 30. He's playing full midfield. I really wish I had got, you know, him instead of Tom Gross when I did. But I think he's a reliable, out of all the rookie options around at the moment to play on field, he's one of the more reliable. He plays for the Eagles. He's going to get They want to play him in the midfield. He's going to get a good lot of midfield. I mean, I know Kelly is back this week. Did that change where they lined him up? Have they put him on the bench, or is he still lined up in the middle? This view. He did go back to the bench. So hopefully that doesn't knock any of his CBA time now that Tim Kelly is back. Hopefully not. I'm keeping my fingers crossed that it doesn't affect it at all. Yeah. Loop Angus Clark with that's my team. Jepson might play. You might even have a who are you looping him with? Bergman. Yeah. Bergman. I guess if if you put the emergency on Clark and he gets you an 80 or a 90, just take it. I do think Bergman could potentially get you 100, so I'd be looking to get 80 plus from Clark before I keep it, to be honest. I wouldn't be, if Clark gets a 60, I wouldn't be keeping it. I mean, look, 68, 100 and 112, 127, 47, 100. I mean, I would want Clark to get an 80 plus before I'd even consider keeping it. Maybe a 90, maybe even a 90 before I consider keeping it, just because you know Bergman potentially can go big. And don't forget, no Connor Rosie in the team might mean that Bergman gets more ball in the back. So yeah, I would I'd want Clark to get a big score, even though maybe if Clark gets a 70 or an 80, maybe instead of Mills. I don't know. I think the safest thing for you is if Clark gets a 40, I think. Clark, you either want him to get 110 or a 20. You don't want him to get 80, because then you're not going to know what to do, Joshua. But you're looping McCarthy. I guess that's an option as well. I'd almost think that McCarthy seems a safer pick than Mills, but I don't know why I think that. But Ben Jemson's on field. He's playing. Yeah, so he'll play. He's going to play. So make sure you put your emergency on the right one. That's good. You've got a lot of coverage, which is nice. So whatever you do, I wouldn't be doing the 2 trades this week. Just do the 1 trade. Pick who you like out of the rucks. Now, we had a big discussion about this. Me personally, I'm an Englishman, but that's only because my ruck ranking goes like this. Grundy, number 1. Number 2, gone. Number 3, Ryan Marshall playing by himself is number 3. Ryan Marshall playing as a dual ruck. So then I'm giving English and Ryan Marshall even 3. A tie at 3, just because I'm not too sure how much Max Heath is going to affect Rowan's rucking. Now, Rowan has a very good run coming. And I think he's got the better run, but English run is not bad either. So I think there for me are a bit of a muchness. Like, Rowan Marshall could still score very well even with Max Heath in the team. You know, he could go forward and kick a couple of goals and 30% forward. If he kicks 2 goals and still has a decent ruck, he'll still get you 120 or 130 or maybe even higher. You know, if he has a good ruck game, he can still get a 150. So there's no reason why Marshall can't score big. But I'm going a bit different from everybody else, and I'm just, gonna have a swing at winning my leagues this week. So after those 2, then I think Meek, Cameron, Nankovic, Briggs all come in down after that. So I think that's where I'm sitting on the rucks. That's where the fence that I'm going to sit on when it comes to the rucks. Merritt will get tagged. There's no one else in the team to tag. Who are they playing? Is they a tagging type team of taggers? Oh, sorry. Can you always remind me if I'm going like this and you can't see your team, go like this. Sorry, Crew. You probably, all these teams I've been reviewing, you probably couldn't see who's on the bench. But if you didn't notice, he's got a very good bench here. Joshua's got 1, 2, 3, 4. He's got 4 players playing. Not so much in the forward line, which is why doing that extra trade really worries me. So, even, you know what? Oh, you've already got Luke Jackson, which is a good thing. So, whoever you get here, if you needed to get, Luke Jackson to the forward line and another ruck, whoever that ruck might be, whether it's a cheapo ruck or something, for the last few games with your 2 trades, it would be doable. Giving him attention. So they're playing GWS, Bedford. Ooh, yeah, ooh, that's nasty. Ooh, the Bedford tag. I mean, you would think, it's a bit rough with how many injuries Essendon have got. You don't really need to tag him, right? You already assume that you're going to slaughter Essendon if you're GWS, right? But I guess they're in the running for the finals. They don't want to take any chances. So, why let Essendon's best player run crazy? You only really have to shut down one player. You don't have to worry about Nick Martin anymore. You don't have to worry about any other big... If you shut down, if you're shutting down Merritt, who else have they got to stand up and be a superstar in the midfield? So I would say that, yes, if you were thinking about vice-captaining Merritt, I'd say don't do that. Who are you, Joshua, who are you doing as your vice-captain choices this week? Yeah, exactly, Matthew. Given the lineup. But then again, you got to think like GWS, right? Percentage, I don't know, just percentage make a difference for them this season. The ladder, percentage could be an issue for them. So, with all these teams on 44 and them down there at the bottom percentage, maybe locking down Merritt and just trying to absolutely slaughter Essendon tonight is the way to go. They need a big as win as possible to get them. Look at all these teams on 44 points. Shit. They would only have to lose 2 games in a row and someone like Western Bulldogs to win 2 or 3 games in a row, and they'd be in some trouble. So, they really, really want to win this game, and they really want to win this game well. 127% versus 113, that's a big difference. That is a big, big difference. So they're going to have to really pile it on. It's not like they're going to score 150 points tonight. I guess they could score 150 points tonight. And Essendon could score, 10 points. But that's what they're going to want. They're going to want to score big tonight. So maybe shutting down Merritt is the smartest thing to do. They don't need to tag, but yeah, that's correct. They don't need to tag, but maybe it just makes them, makes the Dons even less competitive. Maybe takes a bit of wind out of their sail as well. See the older... Is Merritt the captain? Your captain or the your best player at least shut down? Maybe that takes it out of the kids a little bit. Josh, I do like your team though. Like I said though, I'd definitely save those trades and see if you can get either... You might need some coverage in the forward line in the future, or you might be able to pick up someone, you might be able to pick up someone at a 400 or 450k mark at some point, whatever. Maybe Jepson keeps playing, you get a 99k rookie for Clark. Maybe swap, even get rid of Clark, swap Patton back there, get a 99k here, and then take up Shannon or something like that when he gets to about 250 in a couple of weeks' time. For your last 3 rounds or something, you got a 450k player here. Who knows, maybe you get Rankinine, maybe you get Sean Darcy, maybe you get, if this was my team, that would be my plan. To get this position to someone who's, either this one or someone who's a mid-forward swap instead of Johnson at some point. Coverage, get them on, get them off, type of thing. yeah, who... So everybody else out there, captain, vice captain and captain choices, I know we had a little bit of a talk about it. You reckon Butters will get tagged? The Butters? You better not. Backing him in as captain. Hawthorn, who's tagging for Hawthorn? Finn McManus. He's not in the team, I don't think. Oh, he's in the team. Shit. Did he tag last week? Did he tag? That's both of my captains could be a problem then this week. Both. Can't we see last week's fucking teams? Well, maybe we can. Maybe we'll just go the long way. Maybe we'll go the long way. So if we go to Hawks. Oh, you stupid thing. Finn McManus. Ty Career. Started as the sub on a quarter three for Mackenzie to play defensive half forward. Didn't tag last week. I don't know, maybe they do. Hopefully not, because then if Bont does shit against the Hawks, like against Brisbane like he normally does, and then Butters does, but, you know, he's got a reasonably good record against them, but 135, 127 or 105, but has he been tagged? And I almost bank Butters to break the tag. I think Butters is one of the players who can break a tag, and you don't have to move him forward. You don't have to try and move him forward, move him back. He just breaks it in the midfield. He's like, F you guys. F you guys in your tag. I'm going to snap it in half, and what he does. Here's a sub last week, Matthew. Yep, cool. The clamp, same as Don's, yeah. But, you know, the only thing I'm hoping for, Paris, is that GWS and Nolan, they tag most weeks. And then Nolan, Bedford is, you know, I guess he's, for a while there at the beginning of the year, we were saying he's the number one tagger, right? He did some awesome jobs on, really, really shut down some of the best players in the game. Really, really hurt them. Where Hawks don't only tag some of the time. With GWS, I'd say tag most of the time. Weatherby Terror for Tassie game. The Hawks Port game. That could pay in Zach Butters' favour, to be honest. Lots of contested possessions, lots of stoppages. So, could, as long as he's clean with the ball, it could pay. You're scaring me, Matthew. You are scaring me. I mean, I could always go a little bit safer and try maybe Gorn. Go like the Bont into Gorn. Or I could even try Matt Rowell, to be honest. Like, Matt Rowell's current form versus Adelaide in Adelaide. Maybe not. I'm not going Dacos. Dacos might have a good game, but after 3 knocks last week, I wouldn't be surprised if they take it a little bit easy with Dacos. So I'm not recommending Dacos, just on the fact that it's a little bit of a worry. Helps, yeah, lots of Meek. Could be a good choice this week, Meek, if you're looking for that slightly point of difference ruckman. Slight point of difference ruckman. UTAS Stadium, UTAS, that's what Tassie's called, is it? You and Taz. Oh. You're in Tasmania Stadium. You're in UTAS. Makes sense. Makes complete sense to Seano now. So that's support. Yeah, I don't know. I think captain choice is a bit tricky this week. You could try Whitfield. Yeah, but Pies, I don't, yeah, it's a tough game. It's over there as well, right? It's not here, it's over there. And I just don't. The problem is, what if they get flogged? That's my only worry. It's not is if the, what if they just get absolutely pummeled by Collingwood over there? Does that, affect the entire Fremantle score? I mean, probably not. They got a bit of fight in them, but Bont to Dawson. I think Dawson versus GWS when Gold Coast when Gold Coast don't tag, it's fine. I don't know if I'd pick the Geelong players just in case he got the Windhager tag. I think this is one of the harder weeks to pick captain, vice captain. I don't want to go Gawn because he's got Pitnett and TDK. He's got the dual team. He doesn't have a great record at him. They team up. Pitnett is a big-bodied. He probably matches up a little bit better on Gawn than TDK just because he's a big-body boy. They're both crashing into Gawn all day. Maybe that's not great. I mean, I think if I was going to get a little... I mean, Whitfield tonight, but how much time does the ball spend in the GWS back line tonight against this Essendon team? Maybe if they tag Merritt and whatever, how often does Whitfield even get the fucking ball? If it's always in the front half of Essendon, if Essendon, well, yeah, if the GWS are just pummeling the goals up their end and they're always in the front half, maybe Whitfield doesn't have this massive score, which I think is something we overlook sometimes, whereas you got to think of, these teams picking halfbacks who play the Eagles or Richmond or Essendon. How much ball are they really going to get a lot of this time? Sometimes they'll get a good score, but if it's an absolute slaughter, what was the one that I remember where we thought against the Eagles, I think we thought it might have been Whitfield against the Eagles, we thought was going to go really big and he got an average score just because the ball was never there. Or it could have been Connor Rosie against the Eagles. No, he got 150, I think, Connor Rosie did. So, I mean, I don't mind that. I mean, you could... What about Wanganeen Malira against Geelong? I think a lot of teams are starting to wake up to Wanganeen Malira and trying to put a bit of work into him, so that's a bit risky. I mean, I don't mind the vice captain on Whitfield just to see what happens. I mean, if I was very cheeky, I could probably try Rao instead of Butters, but Adelaide Oval, against Adelaide, it could be competitive, could it be tight in there? I mean, it'd be a sneaky... What I might do, when's the match? I'll Port play Saturday morning. I might see what Brad, my opponent, is going to do. We'll look and see how I go tonight and Friday night, see how far I am behind or in front as in playing my league matches, and then we'll make a call whether we need to negate his captain choice, because he's going to have Grundy as it is vice captain or captain. So if I have Bont and he gets like a 60 or something, and he's got like Grundy who plays on Saturday. Oh, he plays after Butters. Yeah, I always like to see what my opponent's vice captain score is before my captain score. If my opponent makes Grundy his vice captain this week, it could be trouble. They'll tag Anderson before Rao, 100%, yeah. But it is Adelaide as well. Adelaide don't do a lot of tagging, right? But Rao can give you a stinker. He's not immune to a stinker. If he's not very clean with the ball, like a 97, 140, 100, 140, 120, 120, 120. So, I don't know. I think that I'm going to back the Butters likes the contested shit conditions. He's going to get in, he's going to get under, he's going to get lots of ball, he's going to get lots of contested. Every time I fade these two, they go big. So I think I'll just back them in won't look at the stats or whatever and see how we go. Hey Alex, how are you going, mate? Thanks for dropping by. It's ranked 392. Congratulations, very nice. Need help for your flex. Toby Green. Oh, Paris. He's the one to go Toby Green. Second easiest general forward fixture for the year, or Dylan Shield who's back in this way. Oh, well, Alex, I don't want to turn you off. I went Toby Green, I bought him in, and then I had to sell him out. So that's giving me like flashbacks. So how much money you got? What's your team name? What's your team name and how much money you got? And we'll have a look, mate. We'll have a look. But I don't love either of those on purely just off my top of my head. I don't love either of them, to be honest. Even though Toby Green could score 1 million goals tonight. Paris, you and your fucking Toby Green. That's what you said last time. That's what you said last time when I bought him in. I was like, yeah, you got a good point, Paris. Yeah, Toby Green. I fucking sold him like 2 weeks later. Cost me 2 trades. 375 is your budget. What's your name team? What's your team name? What's your name team? Ooh, what's your team name? Name team. What's your name team?
Me fail English? That's impossible.
That's impossible. And you just want to use one trade. You can't make any money. You don't have 5 or 6 trades up your sleeve, I assume, at that ranking. Rivalries set up. Al Yay Man FC. Here we go. All right, and you said so. Using 2 trades, Sherry and Cadwell to Grundy. Yeah, and you need a forward? Why do you need a forward? Oh, for the flex. And how many trades have you got left, Alex, after this? I mean, so yeah, so how many trades, using 2 trades, how many trades you got left after this? And what do you want to go for overall rank, I assume? You'll have 1 after this week. I mean, depends. If you just want to go for overall rank, I guess I can get behind it. Honestly though, buddy, if you were me, if I was you, if you were me, you'd be in a lot worse position than you already are. If I was you, I would just be doing Sherry to Gorn or English or someone like that. I mean, if that's why you're doing it, you think it'll be a fun own. You don't mind burning your team down a little bit, because that's what I feel like you're doing by making this trade. You're risking a lot by doing this trade. You're going to have 1 trade left. There's still 7 games to go. 6 games to go. You know, you don't mind having a 0 later on in the season, potentially. You don't really care about your leagues. You're like, screw your leagues. You don't want to win your league and be premier of your league. You just want to get the highest potential round score and have a fun own. Then fine, I'm behind that, and we'll have a look at 375. Me personally, I want to win my leagues, and in looking at your team, I'd be doing straight swaps from either Sherry to a Gawn, and then I'd go a Cadwell to another. Because you got Rosie to come back, right? And you've already got pretty much got a full defenders. You got Cadwell. I'd go Cadwell to another, whoever you like. You know, around what you can afford for that similar 500 pricey. Then you got a full primos. You've got McCarthy covering you on the bench. Rosie comes back next week. You still have 2 trades in the bank. So that's what I would do going for leagues. If you just want Grundy, you love his run, you think he's going to go huge, you think he might be a good point of difference for you, and if everything goes well and you don't have to use any trades for the rest of the season, the one trade, let's have a look at for 375. Let's have a look at 375. We can have anybody at 375. Okay. Who has the best last 5 round average? Probably say no. Injured. Sheldrick, Darcy Burns-Jones, Cooper Harvey, James Jordan. Yeah, there's not a lot of players that jump out and say pick me, are there, in that price range at 375. There's really no one. What are the last 3 rounds? I mean, Toby Green, I guess it's fine. Tyler Dwyer is playing a back role. He's playing the kind of a bit of a Marek role. He's sharing the Marek role with. I'd probably prefer him than Toby Green. Maybe not. Toby Green can go big. Could go really big tonight. But just remember, he can be shit too. He could be pretty shit. Like 69.83. I got him in after this 127 and he got a 57.8. And I think I sold him and he got a 111.83. 50s. Yeah, I mean, he has potential to go big. If I was looking for coverage and potential to be steady, I'd probably be going. Maybe even Dwyer. Always a chance he gets dropped though. He is playing for the Eagles. Jack Martin is pretty safe. I mean, even though he's named on the extended bench. Yeah, you don't have a lot of choice, mate. It's pretty tricky. Depends too, if... I didn't help very much, Alex. But for that amount of price, I don't know who I'd be getting. I mean, maybe Toby Green just is the way to go. And then you will have... He'll be a loop option then, right? He won't be playing on your field though. If Toby Green is just on your bench and using it as a loop option, fine. Go for it. Would be nice if you had someone that had a bit of coverage. A pity you can't just afford one of these ones that are a little bit more expensive. Like, someone with a bit of a loop action going on. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think you will score more and you will go up in rank more if you get Gawn and a Primo than if you get over the rest of the games of the season, Alex. I personally think, and you're obviously a lot higher than me, so you do what you want to do, buddy. But me personally, I think Gawn and a full primo instead of Cadwell. Like, looking in your midfield, I'd love to see a Jordan Dawson in there. I'd love to see a Noah Anderson if you could afford him. Love to see you've got Bont, you've got Butters, you've got Libby, you've got Green, Brayshaw, Dacos. Yeah, Ed Richards in there. One of these guys who has potentially to go really big. And because as we were explaining before, I believe that Gawn and a gun mid, if they both score 150, each, they can get a score of 300, where Toby Green and Grundy cannot. They can. Grundy could get 200 and Toby Green could get 120 and get you 320, I guess. I guess they potentially have the chance to do that, so I don't mind it. And the fact that Toby Green is not going to be... you've got McCarthy. So if you're looping like Green with a someone, you're looping Green with a whoever, probably putting one of these guys up here, maybe, or one of these guys down there, using him as a loop. If you can loop Green most weeks to see if he gets you the big score or not, like this week you could loop him. Like for this week, it'd be excellent. For this week's fixture, it could be excellent because you would be able to put a loop on him. If he gets you 120, take it. If he doesn't, don't take it. Get him down here. If he doesn't take it, swing one of these guys up there. Put Rosie on the bench there for Bo Allen. Take McRae or someone up there and get it that way. So that way, Alex, I think... definitely for this week, I don't mind it. As long as you don't mind going down to one trade and you don't mind dropping off further on down the season if you have 0 trades. It's the more risky option, but I think it has the option to really pay off big. It has an option to pay off big, but at the same time, how is GWS's run for the rest of the season? Do they have early games? Do they have a lot of early games? Does it show us this way if they have early games? Doesn't tell us when their games are. We'll have to go to the fixtures. Nope. Do I not have the fixtures already set up? Fancy footy research. So for the rounds coming up, what are we at? Round 19? Round 18? Round 19? Round 19, right? Am I losing my mind? Round 19? Round 19. Is this the game because earlier on the season they've changed it around? Essendon versus GWS. It's different from the actual fixtures. Well, the rest of the fixtures for the rest of the season, if the rest of the fixtures are the same, GWS play on... oh god. I don't know, that's probably Saturday, Sunday, Saturday, Saturday, my eyesight trying to look at this, can't even, that's probably Saturday as well. Quite a lot of Saturday games. You're welcome, Alex. I Hope I helped a little bit. I don't mind it. It's a little bit risky for my liking, but you know, you got to have fun, right? You know, like I said, me trying to win my leagues, I'd definitely be going like Gawn and Dawson, probably because you got two of these, Dawson or you know, whoever else I really like, Noah Anderson, someone here. But yeah, if you had like Grundy and then I don't know, what's Shield like when he's actually performing? We got him up, but we didn't really look at him. Just come back in the team this week. He's playing for Essendon, so do we know what position he's going to play? He's got mid defense status, so at least he gives you a bit of coverage. 15, 22, 52. So he's been out since round 10. 70, 60. I think I'd go Toby Green over Shield just because I think the upside is better. 70, 60. He's got 100, but I think Toby Green can go big. Can go big on his day if he gets enough. If he gets enough ball, I think he can go big on his day. Even though he is my burn man. Even if he is my burn man. How far are we away from the start of the game, crew? How far away are we from the start? Game's already started? Has the game started? Well, I guess this will be a little bit of the last. If anyone wants to chat anything, this will be the last chance. Game has started. Okay. Game started. Alright crew, well, I'll let everyone go and watch the game. Really a big thank you for everyone who has been hanging out with me today. Don't forget to subscribe and follow and leave me a comment down below. Let me know, you know, what you end up doing in the way of trades. And thank you so much, Matthew. Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Paris. Thank you. Oh, Nathan. Sorry, Nathan. I missed your message, mate. You were just in there. Sorry so much. Sherry and Sheriff are 1, Grundy and Humphrey or 2. Oh, I'm so sorry I missed your message. I hope you're still there, buddy. If you're still there, not off watching the football, Grundy and Humphrey for 2, English and Anderson. Me, personally, I like... so you're getting rid of Sherry and Sarah. You can go... Grundy and Humphrey or English and Anderson. I mean, again, depends what you want. You want to win your leagues? Go English and Anderson, I reckon. Grundy and Humphrey, if you just want to get the maximum score, and depending on how many trades you got left too. If you're leaving yourself like with 1 trade, I guess you're making 2 trades there no matter what. If Humphrey was your 23rd player or, you know, 24th primo, I'd say that's fine. Otherwise, I think English and Anderson, there's a good chance that they will outscore, you know, just as likely to outscore Grundy and Humphrey over the run to the end, just because we don't know what Humphrey's going to do. I mean, Grundy could hold up and he could keep scoring these 150s every week, and Humphrey might actually get that more midfield time. And could be a good pick, but it might not be. It might not work out. So I think either way is fine, depending on what you want. Considering you're using 2 trades for both, maybe just go the Grundy and Humphrey, and that's your pod. Use your Grundy as your vice captain or your captain choice most weeks, and just see if you can jump up the rankings if that's what you're trying to do. If you were trying to straight up win your leagues. Even winning the leagues, I think the only advantage of trying to win your leagues is if you're keeping trades. So since you're using 2 trades for both, maybe just go for it with Grundy and Humphrey. I think English and Anderson are more safe. Grundy and Humphrey are more, you know, you're really just going for it. Alright crew, who else do we miss? We missed G-Bags. I said thank you so much, G-Bags. Again, Nathan, sorry I missed your message. You're probably gone to watch the footy by now. Brad, good to see you, Brad. I guess good luck to you this week, but I certainly do hope I beat you. Corey, thanks for being here, Corey. Who else we got in here? That's it, I can see. Thanks everyone for being here. Like we said, don't forget to subscribe. I'll be back with my review video probably on Monday morning, so keep an eye out for that one. Good luck everyone with your teams this week, and I will talk to you all again very soon.